Welcome back. There are just so many different shapes and sizes and so many things that you can do with bowls. So we're just going to show a few advanced techniques. The first one is we've been spending so much time getting everything symmetrical and getting everything even. Then sometimes you might want to loosen up a little bit and maybe let the pot have a little bit more of a personality. So we're going to do, people call these various things. I think I'll just refer to this as a nature bowl. And what we're going to do is we're going to have so that the rim is uneven, so that it's going to undulate. And so in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and throw right on the wheel head. Once again, being careful of the pins, but where I've got something small enough. And I usually have a wear board, and usually I'll just sit down and throw, 6 or 8 at a time. We've got about 2.5 pounds of clay. So we're going to get this centered. And once again, for bowls, when we open up, we want to leave a really nice thick base so that we'll be able to trim a good foot. So I'm just going to come in here just a little bit, make it's kind of a doorknob shape. So we're going to go ahead and open up. And we're just going to bring this wall up. But before we do any other thinning, we're just going to throw the rim off. We're just going to come up almost like what we were just doing with the pitcher. That we're just going to get the rim to be a little uneven. Okay, so now that we've done that, now we're going to go ahead and go back down and pull and thin that out. So as we do that, we're just going to end up with just kind of a little bit of a ripple to the rim. So now with the rib, I'm just going to get rid of the throwing rings and the slip that was on the outside. And I'm just going to I've got another wooden rib. And all I'm going to do is just put this down in the very corner and then just push out and create some more volume. So we're just going to do the shaping from the inside. We can even just right down here on the interior, you can even just come in and maybe give it a little bit of a swirl right in the base. I'm going to add a lateral line. I'm going to just come about halfway up just to add a little bit of contrast between how the rim is undulating, and I'm just going to get a little bit of a line going right through the center. Whoops. So I think you can see how thick I left the base, because we're going to be able to trim a really nice foot. So on these pieces that we're just throwing right on the wheel, if you have your wear board, just to be able to cradle that, just to pick that up and move that. Okay, so here's the one that I made yesterday that's nice and leather hard. So with the amount that rim is undulating, I think I'm going to, let's see how it sits. If we just use our little chum, our little pyramid of clay. Let's see how that's going to sit on there. Just a little bit more. Okay, it's actually, once again, on this kind of bowl, having a little irregularity isn't really a bad thing. So we're going to come in, we're going to do the same thing where we actually cut in order to get it to sit up on that foot. So depending on what term you want to use, this is definitely, I tend to refer to these being a little more funky than what we would do in a beginning class where we're just learning the skills. But so this has just a little bit more movement, a little bit more personality perhaps. Once again, if you're not sure where you're at, you can just stop the wheel, and if you can move and push it, see, I can't move that yet, so I know I can go farther. So I'm going to go ahead and give my little bevel on the inside. And give a little bevel on the outside. Just round those edges. So there's a nice organic bowl with an undulating rim. You give it a little put a couple of stamps in there. Okay. So now we're going to move on. We're going to do a textured bowl next.